Right. Okay. So this lab sheet mainly deals with two problems. The first problem of this lab sheet is on the finding the histogram of an image and finding the equalized histogram, and then equalizing the image, okay, using the equalized histogram. Okay, so the whole process is called histogram equalization. The first the problem that you will be doing in this uh, as a programming assignment, okay, in this lab is the histogram equalization. What histogram equalization does is, see, just to give in very like uh, the simpler way sentences. See, if you can see the histogram of the first image. Okay, it's a first image. What kind of histogram you see here? The first image here on the top. Its histogram is on the darker side. That means if you consider 0 to 255 as all the range of the pixels, okay, so you can consider roughly 125 around the region about 120 or 100 to like 200 or 150, maybe a region where there are like average gray levels, okay, and 0 to roughly 100 or 50, less than 100 are the darker regions, okay, in the image, and these are the brighter regions in the image. Okay, so as you can see here, the first image you looks very dark, and the gray levels or the histogram also shows the same, correct? The second image on the other side is very brighter. So do you appreciate the contrast of either of these images? So either of these images, do you think that these images are of good contrast, or do you think that these contrast can be improved or not? So if you can improve if you want to improve the contrast of this, do you have any method in your do you know any method for it?
We can perform contrast stretching. So
yeah, you can perform contrast stretching. Okay, we can stretch this histogram or the contrast such that the minimum can be moved to 0 and maximum can be moved to 255. Similarly here, the minimum can be moved to 0 and maximum can be moved to 255. Already 255. Okay, so that is referred to as contrast stretching. So that is a linear stretch operation or some kind of stretching operation of intensities. Okay, just with the motive of bringing all the like the intensities, instead of ranging in a small region of intensities, you want to stretch or the put the intensities from 0 to 255 region. That is only the main motive of that contrast stretching. Okay, but however, think of a scenario. Okay, so wherein, for example, okay, so assume that these are all black intensity. So you see that it's mostly towards the darker side. Okay, now I will put some white noise here. That is, I will add some salt noise here. Okay, so you mean, do you know what do I mean by salt noise?
Yes, sir.
bright intensity spot.
Yeah, I will add some 255 intensities here and there. Okay, I will put some bright pixels here and there. And then anyway, I will put, anyway, it's dark, but still I will put some zeros, purely pepper. Okay, somewhere. So I will add essentially small pepper and a little more salt to this image. Okay, intensities to this image. And then how does it look like then? It will look from what are the what is the range of histogram then? Intensity range in the histogram
0
is
to
from
0
total
0 to 255. Now I may use now again contrast stretching. Okay, to do that, do you think still I can use contrast stretching here to
No,
improve
sir.
this contrast? Yeah, if I
No, sir.
linearly go by stretching to 0 to 255, I will fail. Okay, contrast stretching doesn't have much advantage here. Similarly, I may put here some darker pixels. Okay, some salt here. Okay, then what will happen? There will be some intensities here. Okay, and some anyway 255. So even here contrast stretching will fail. But the histogram equalization, which I am discussing now, is also a image enhancement technique, but it will be very useful to improve the contrast of an image by looking not just one or two intensity values, okay, but by looking at all the intensity distribution of the image. Okay, it looks at the whole histogram and tries to give a nice approach for stretching uniformly across all intensities. Okay, so what it essentially tries to do is, see, ideally, it would like to give almost say uniform probability for each of the bin in the histogram. Say if I divide this histogram into 10 bins, okay, then what will happen? This is one first bin, this may be second bin, this may be third bin, and so on. Now, if I make the histogram for that 10 this 10 bin 10 bins, then what? How does it look like? First bin it is roughly 0. Second bin it's almost very high. Okay, if I normalize the histogram, if I look at it is close to 0.8. Okay, third bin it may be points. Say second bin may be 0.6. Third bin may be 0.3, and fourth bin may be 0.1, and remaining all zeros. Okay, so it is like that. So it is very, it's not a uniform histogram. Okay, or it's not a uniform density, it looks like. So what this histogram equalization does is, it tries to take the help of probability, considering the normalized histogram as probability of the number of pixels at a given intensity value. Okay, and use that probability to make this probability density function of the equalized histogram being uniform. Okay, so in other words, what it does is, say now again, if after equalization, if I see 10 bins, okay, roughly the normalized histogram value of 10 bins may be 0.1, around 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. Okay, ideally that will be the case. That is what is being done in histogram equalization. So it maps the any PDF of the normalized histogram to uniform PDF. Okay, is this goal of the histogram equalization clear? Right. If I map that intensities like that, having uniform histogram, then what will happen? The intensities, previously the intensity value here may be say at 50. Now after mapping, this may go to 0. Previously intensity value may be here, maybe at 100. Okay, now after mapping, it may go to 150. Here it may be at 150, it may go to 255. So after this rearrangement of the like histogram, okay, then what will happen? The indexes also might have changed, will be changing, and that indexes we will try to bring back and put in the original image, so that the enhancement of the intensities will be very well seen here. Okay, so that is what is done in histogram equalization. Okay, so now see, I am trying to give an example here. Say assume that this is the matrix corresponding to some image patch. Okay, so what I would request is, each of you quickly get the probable histogram of this matrix patch. Okay, you can just make a histogram and give me the count for one. Say how many gray levels are there here in this patch? 8, right? So for each of the gray levels, please give me the count of number of pixels. Yeah, quickly make it. And then I need the normalized count as well. So if you are able to do it quickly, it will be very good. Yeah, quickly try to do it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, somebody are able to do? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, if you're able to do it now, let us see the next slide. So in this, you can see the probabilities for each of the grade levels. R1 is first grade level, R2 is second grade level, and R8 is eighth grade level. Just try to match with this.
Got this much.
Yeah, fine, good. So this is this can be considered as the probability density function, okay, corresponding to the intensity distribution of the given MS or given MS patch. Okay, so do you see what kind of probability distribution function is this? Or probability distribution function is this? Or probability mass function is this? Is this, can you attribute uniformness to this? If you sketch it, assume that I just want to sketch it. Okay, I have not sketched it here, but if I sketch it, how does it look like?
Sir, what are these probabilities, sir? Not understood actually.
Yeah, what are these probabilities? You answer me. What are these probabilities? Yeah, somebody else can also answer. What are these probabilities?
Count by total number of pixels.
Yeah. So you got it or not? So say for example, here 1 intensity, okay, and here 8 intensity. Okay, so here 8 intensity. And what you people have seen, how many ones are there in the previous matrix? How many ones are there?
8 ones.
8.
8 ones are there. Is it? Is that
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Okay, fine, good.
Correct,
So
sir.
8 ones are there, very good. Okay. So out of say 8 cross 8 matrix, is it?
5 matrix, 25 elements.
Yeah, 25 elements. So it is 8 by 25. So it is roughly correct. So it is roughly 0.32. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is the first. Right. So that is the first frequency of ones is 0.32. Okay, normalized frequency. That itself is a PDF. That itself gives the intensity distribution at 1. Okay, how many pixels has the intensity of 1 among all the pixels that we have in the patch? Correct? So in that way, if you see, how does it look like? I will roughly sketch it. I will try to roughly sketch it. I am just roughly trying to sketch it. Right? So I think let me try to bring some small eraser. Is this fine? Whatever I have sketched? Right, whole thing has gone. Okay. We should have a this side. Okay, is this fine?
Yeah, fine, sir. It is, sir.
It's roughly fine. But if I like here, you can even more than this. So
Yeah,
this
that is
one is 32. Okay, and this is 32 roughly. Okay, and this is last one is 20. Okay, so this is 20. Okay, so this is what kind of PDF is this? Can one of you say any mathematical model for this? This intensity is 6. Okay, right. So any mathematical model can you attribute to this? Even if you consider a bin here, even in the bin, its PDF is, in fact, this is a discrete plot. Okay, I have plotted for my convenience as a continuous plot, but this is a discrete PDF or this probability mass function. Correct? Correct, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think I request TS to plot this as well, so that from the next time onwards, even I think hope you people also can do. So next time onwards, we'll have a good plot here. So instead of me plotting. Okay. So this is not any mathematical. You don't have any mathematical model to say this PDF. But what we want to do is see what it indicates. Most of the pixels are concentrated here and here, and in this region, roughly no pixels are there. Okay, so these are all unnecessarily being actually a large range of the image is not very well distributed. Okay, so with some intensity. So what we want to do now is we want to map this to roughly say this is what is the input image histogram, and equalized histogram should look like, okay, I will try to bring another color. Okay, equalized histogram should look like something like this. Okay, so ideally it should look like this. Okay, and what will be the value? So 1 to 8, 25 pixels. And then roughly it will be, value will be close to 3. Okay, count is close to 3. Correct? Or, so this is 0.32, right? So I forgot these points. So 0.3. It should be close to 0.3. So I think, is this correct? Close to 0.3 or something?
Yes, sir, close to 0.3.
Huh? Close to 0.3?
No, sir, 0.2 might be. Point.
No. You should
No.
tell what exactly, because I think you have 25 pixels and 8 gray levels. Okay, so 8. So 3
0.1.
pixels. Okay, 3 by 25. Okay, so roughly
0.12.
close to
0.12.
That is
0.1.
0.1.
Right. So at each gray level 3 pixels, right? So it is 3 by 25. This is the value here. It is 0.12, close to 0.12. Okay, so that is our 0.1, I will say, just for simplicity. Okay, so it should be like that. So now to do that, then what will happen? What is the advantage if I get this? If it is close to 0.1. Okay, all pixels, what is happening is the information in the image is distributed across all the intensity values, ranging from say first intensity to last intensity, or lower like dark region to bright region. Okay, each of the region has some information, and information, whichever is overall information, is equally distributed in all the intensity regions. Okay, so that will naturally will have high contrast. Is that clear or not? So that's what we want to achieve. Okay, so to achieve that, what we do is, the process of achieving it is to see, we have the probability distribution function, but probability distribution function we want to bring from here to here. So if you want to bring it to any other distribution function, what we should use is the cumulative distribution function as our intermediate tool, because cumulative distribution function is the one which will help us to to accumulate and gradually put the whole information in one in a unified manner or monotonically increasing manner. So what we do is, we first form a cumulative distribution function. So cumulative distribution function, okay, so may look like this. Okay, so I just plotted some rough sketch of cumulative distribution function. So from 0.3 to where will it go, up to where it will the cumulative distribution function will go?
1, sir.
Up to 1. Very good. So final value will be 1. Now please don't think all this to scale. Okay, but the idea is clear, right? Initial value is 0.32. Okay, for the cumulative distribution function, and then the second value will be 0.48. Okay, it will be somewhere here. Okay, and then third point is 0.6. Okay, it is somewhere here, and close to 0.6 there are 3-4 values. Okay, and finally it comes to 0.8. Okay, and then from 0.8 it jumps to 0.1. So it jumps to 1. Okay, so this is roughly the cumulative distribution function. This is CDF. Okay, right? Now using this CDF, can one of you think or tell, what do you think I will do now to map this onto uniform distribution? I roughly want to map this to a uniform distribution. Okay, I said cumulative distribution function can help us as an intermediate tool. Okay, yeah, tell me, what should we do? What do you think we will do now? Okay, so essentially what we want to do, we want to anyway have the intensities from 1 to 8. In this case, luckily or accidentally, even 8 is also present. That is, the number of pixels at 8 intensity are also there. But in some images, assume that this whole thing is not there. Second half, after 6, it is just terminated. Okay. Even then, this cumulative density function should help us. Okay. So it will be flat from here. Okay. And then it should help us to have the final intensities ranging from 1 to 8. Okay. Not just 1 to 6. You got the point? What I'm trying to tell?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So now we should make sure that this cumulative distribution function, okay, will help us to one objective of this equalization or the using cumulative distribution function. While using cumulative distribution function is that we should have the intensities ranging from roughly 1 to 8. Okay. It should be spread across minimum intensity to maximum intensity roughly. Okay. Minimum need not be there. Maximum may or may not be there. Okay, it will be there most of the times. It will be there all the times in this case by this histogram equalization. But minimum need not be there. But it should spread over all intensities. Okay, that is one objective. Second objective is, see where there are some more pixels. See here, see 0.32, 0.16. You see that 8 pixels are at intensity 1. Again, there is say 4 pixels are at intensity 2. So the pixels are more spread in the very small region. But what this uniform density says, the pixels should not be spread all like in a small region, or they should uniformly spread. So what we do, say if there is a good say large number of pixels for at intensity 1, then there should be a reasonable gap between the pixels of having intensity 1 and intensity 2. Yes or no? Because then only average spread will be uniformly maintained. Okay. So if all having high spread or high count are closer, okay, then the spread is like intensity is only concentrated in small region. Okay. If there is a many pixels concentrated, okay, with some intensity value, the other intensity values wherein the next pixels comes should be well separated from this. Okay, pixels having a higher count or in intensity having higher count. Okay, that way we will on an average we maintain uniform density. Okay, that is second aspect. That means the average spread in a region has to be constant or like uniform. To that, if there is enough spread already at some intensity, I will try to make the other intensities apart or separated from it. Okay, in the histogram equalized image. That is other point. Okay, is the point clear here? Is the point I made, is that clear? See, I will explain in another way. You see in this region, okay, almost 0.08, 0.0800, 0.04. These are all very small number of pixels are there here. No pixel at all here. So in this case, what? See, unnecessarily, I did not assign 3 different gray levels. I can assign actually single gray level as well. Okay, when there are only 3-4 pixels all together, say 1 pixel, or maybe 2 pixels, 1 pixel, 3 pixels, all together 3 pixels alone. If there are only 3 pixels, why should I spend? Why should I give 3 different gray levels for them? Okay, in an image of 25, as we said, 3 pixels should get 1 gray level only. Okay, so 3 pixels can be accommodated in 1 gray level. That's what this says, right? So here the count as such, the number of gray levels, okay, is equal to 3. Is that it's clear, right, to you in the from the previous discussion? It's not going. Okay. So the count here is count here is 3. Number of pixels at a given gray level that we can accommodate. Okay. So is that clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now I want to say what I can do to do that is, so whenever there is a whenever the probability or the number of pixels are very small at a given gray levels, then I can combine them. Okay. Whenever there are gray levels that are having more number of pixels, Okay, I need to keep them apart. Okay, this is needed to make the PDF uniform. Is that clear or not? Huh? Is that clear? Yes or no? Yeah, if no answer means you should ask a question. Okay.
Repeat again, sir. That why you are keeping.
What is that? Why we are?
Sir, that gray level separation. You are saying some
Why
gap.
we are doing? Yeah, why we are giving gap between separation? What I'm saying is, see, initial gray level is at 1 now, at 2. Okay. So because at 1 we have 8 pixels already. At 2 again 4 pixels. What we need on an average only we want to keep 3 pixels at a single gray level. Fine. But what, see, can you separate, say if there are 8 pixels having intensity of 1, can you say that in this 8 pixels I will put 3 pixels at 1, other 3 pixels at 2 intensity, okay, in the modified image? Is that acceptable?
No, sir.
No. So if the original image has 8 pixels having gray level of 1, I can't, like there is no bias I can have to keep out of these 8, 3 in first and 3 in next and another 2 in third gray level. Okay, I can't separate them anyway. They have to be together because original image only they has that much information. Okay, so you can't separate them. So what we do now, we will keep all 8. So where do you want to keep? We can keep at 1, or we can keep at 2, or we can keep at 3. Okay, because say 1, 2, 3 are the regions where you roughly say 3 pixels together. So out of 3, you need 9 pixels are can be accommodated. Fine? Is that fine?
Yes,
Understood? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now come to the next stage. See, assume that I have put at 3. Okay, just by chance I have put at 3. Now the second intensity ideally has 4 pixels. So ideally it is at 2, but now this itself I have put at 3. So I can put it at the maximum at intensity 4. Fine or not? But if I put at 4, what does it mean? I have to separate them, right? So 3 pixels I have to separate.
Yes, sir.
So what I can only accommodate 3 pixels at a given intensity in the equalized histogram. So it is more than 3. So it is better to give a separation to that and put at 5 instead of at 4, right? To make the contrast better. Fine.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Understood.
Right. So if I put this these things at 2, then I may put at 3 or 4. Okay. But there should be the proportionately the like the distribution should look on an average uniform, right? To make that, okay, anyway I can't break the pixels having same intensity to put at different gray levels in the equalized image. But however, when the two different pixels having different intensity, even though there are number of pixels high at intensity 1, also at intensity 2, I can separate them well to make the histogram uniform or an average. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that can be done conveniently through a mathematical trick. Okay, by simply multiplying the cumulative distribution function with the maximum gray level in the image. Okay, so if say 255 is the maximum gray level, so if I make the cumulative histogram multiply 255, what will happen? Ideally, the initial pixel may have no, say even this intensity, there may not be 0 pixels as well. Okay, there may be 0 pixels as well. In that case, 0 into 255 will be 0, or 0 into 8 in this case will be 0. And then it starts from 0th gray level, and maximum of the CDF will be 1 all the time. So maximum gray level will be 255. Okay. So if you have a count equal to 0 here, then okay, and then the equalized histogram also starts with this 0, and the maximum in the equalized histogram will be 255. Okay, because the CDF is 1 at the maximum. CDF ranges from 0 to 1. Okay, and hence the corresponding according to CDF. Why I am using CDF instead of linearly stretching? Can some of you answer this? Okay, to stretch the intensity values, what I'm saying is you multiply the cumulative distribution function with respect to the maximum gray level, and then you can uniformly stretch or increase the contrast by stretching the gray levels. And these are the equalized intensity values. Okay, that's what I'm saying. What we'll do is, instead of intensity 1 now, in the equalized image, I will have the, wherever 1 is there, I will put 3. Okay, as the gray level. Wherever 2 is there, I will put 4. Wherever 3 is there, I will put 5. Okay, and so on. Okay, wherever 8 is there, I will put 8. Okay, so this is the equalized histogram. Okay, so whatever I'm seeing here, okay, this is the equalized histogram. Okay, this is the equalized gray levels. Okay, so obtained after equalized histogram. So equalized histogram, if I want to plot, what do you think I will do? These are the equalized gray levels. Okay, but if I want to plot the equalized histogram, what do you think I will do? Is the discussion clear? What I'm trying to tell here? Huh? Yeah, I need some answer from you people. So,
Hey, Niharika, anybody there? You can try answering.
yeah, is the discussion clear? What I am trying to tell now? Yes. Okay. So, yeah, for others, you should clearly see if any discussion happen. There are two things. Okay. So one thing is, you can say if it is clear, you tell it is clear. Okay. So that is one simpler way for me. Okay. Otherwise, you try to pose the problem or the doubt you have, frame yourself. That is an art. Okay. Frame yourself and ask. Okay. So that the discussion moves very fruitfully and quickly. Okay. The other way is, if you don't understand anything, you can't do that. Okay. You can't frame or you can't, but you can tell that it is not clear in the worst case. Yeah.
So I have one question, sir.
Yeah. Ask.
So in the early part of the discussion, we said we'll have 3 pixels at one intensity level.
Right. Right.
When we said 3 divided by 25, we get that 0.1 level and we draw that. Sir.
Correct. Correct.
From where we got this 3, sir? How
Yeah.
we decided 3?
And very good. So somebody can answer it. Other students.
Sir, we are here taking uniform distribution. For getting uniform distribution for 8 pixels, there are 25 count, sir. So approximately 3 pixels we will take, sir. 8 into 3, 20.
We have to spread that 8 pixels at the count we are equalizing, sir. Just spreading around 0 from 1 to 8. That's why that initial pixels were separated.
Is the discussion clear? Pradeep, is it understood?
So this means we'll take the nearest possible value. So like we had 25 pixels.
Right.
We'll take the nearest possible value.
Correct. Because all the time we can't get the fraction of pixels at a given intensity, right? So we round it, or we floor it. No, so even here, so 0.32 is the like cumulative distribution function at value at R1, say intensity 1. But where should I put the equalized gray level? I can decide by multiplying with 255. So if I multiply this, what I will get? So I 0.34 I will get, if 3.4 I will get. Okay, so the answer is 3.4. Is it correct, or 3.6? No, so something 3.6 I may get, I think. Okay, so
2.56.
Very good.
5.
No, 6 has to come. 8 is there here, right?
2.56.
2.56. Very good. 2.56. So I just rounded it. Okay, and then put at 3. Okay, somebody can do rounding like flooring and put at 2. That is also not a problem. Okay, but you have to do uniformly across all. Okay, if I floor here, I will also floor here. I will also floor here, and so on. Okay, again here I will get a fraction. 0.48 into 8, again another fraction. Okay, all these are fractions except 1 or 2. Okay, 0.64 here. Okay, again I rounded. Everyone I have rounded. Okay, and put. Yeah.
Got
So,
the point.
right. So next question. Any other questions? But our objective is to have 3 pixels roughly at each intensity values, right? So are we able to meet that now after equalization?
We cannot strictly meet that.
Yeah, why? What is the reason? What do you think is the reason? Anybody else also can answer. Okay, if a question comes, it has to be clarified. By whom is a different aspect. No answer? We discussed it already. Bhargav, will you be able to tell? I discussed
No.
only with you in this meeting. See, if we get 8 pixels having intensity of 1, okay, so is there any way to separate them?
Because
Even
of
whatever you
discrete.
right, because of the discrete nature, okay, it's not a continuous values. Okay, you pixel means intensity will be 1 or 2. It can't be 1, 1.2, 1.3 and so on, right? So in similar manner, even here what we have is pixel intensity 1 means, say you have to put them again at some other intensity. You can put it any other intensity, but all 8 has to go in, have same treatment. Okay, so they can't have different treatments. Okay, unless you consider the neighborhood, okay, or make the process a little more like involved, you will not be able to do it. Correct? Right. So that's why, because of the discrete nature, it will be roughly uniform. That's why I said bring into bins. Okay, if you bring in this now as a say bin of 3, okay, within the 3, if you see roughly the count will be close to, okay, within 3, 9 pixels you have to get, right? 3 intensity values. Okay, so 9, close to 9 it will be. Okay, in any bin, you take any bin from here or here. Okay, so you take any bin, it will be roughly 9 pixels. Okay, so like that you can check. Okay. Oh, so sometimes that also may not be valid. Okay, because of the some discrete nature. Yeah. Okay. So any other questions around? So you got what is histogram equalization now? So these are the gray levels that histogram equalization image looks like this, but histogram equalized histogram also you should plot. Okay, how do I plot this equalized histogram? I just want to now sketch the equalized histogram. Can somebody help me to sketch it? How will it look like? Equalized histogram, I want to sketch. Where does it start? Where does it end? Okay, and how will it be? Where does it start? Please tell first.
1 to 8.
No, it will not start from 1. See, these are
3 to 8, sir.
yeah.
3
So
to 8.
these are equalized gray levels I said, right? So at 3, you may have a peak. Okay, 0.32 roughly. Okay, so 8 pixels. 8 because 8 will go together. And then what is the next?
4.
So at 4. Okay, so the remaining thing will not be at 3, it will be at 4 now. Okay, so it is at 4. Okay, so I have 4 pixels. And then at 5 pixels, you have actually, so this is 2 will go to here. And then you may have at 5, how many pixels are there? How many pixels are there? Can somebody quickly tell? So it is again
5 pixels.
5 pixels. Okay, so at 5 you have 5 pixels. Okay, and then at 6. At 6, how many pixels are
3,
there?
sir. 3, sir.
So
3
3 pixels, correct. At 6 you have 3 pixels. Okay, and then at
8.
8. It will directly come to 8.
5
8,
pixels.
20, like how many?
5.
6 pixels. Yeah. 6 or 5 pixels. Yeah, 5 pixels. Okay, this is the histogram. So original histogram, if we sketch it, okay, how will it be? So let me change the color and plot. Okay, with red itself, we will try to plot. So this is the first one is 8. Okay, 8 pixels. And then second one,
4
where is
pixels.
it? Second one, 4 pixels. They are close. Okay, second one here. Okay, and then third one,
3 pixels.
3 pixels. Okay, and then fourth one,
2.
2 pixels. Okay, I think I have not drawn to the scale. This also is not to scale. Okay. This is roughly the third. Okay, and then fourth one, 2 pixels. Okay, and then fifth one,
2 pixels.
fifth one also 2 pixels. And then sixth one anyway is here, 0. And seventh one,
1 pixel.
so this is roughly the plot. Okay, so like this. So you can see here, so it looks here like this is well distributed, but you can, because I have drawn with spacing, okay, but this also will go, this is up to 6, right? So let me sketch this also properly to make the things better. Yeah, so the point is clear, right? So I want the questions meanwhile to ask. Okay, I will just complete this just for formality. Okay, but ask the questions in between. Any other questions you have for this histogram equalization? Otherwise, I will move on to the next topic or next question next in the lab sheet.
Sir, how to
Yeah.
take this equalizer histogram plot? This plot not understood, sir. Equalizer histogram plot.
Which how to take means?
That means at 8, how to plot these things, sir? This probability density function for starting with 3.
You are asking how to get this? Huh?
Yes, sir. How to plot the equalizer histograms
See, you
after
have
getting equalizer gray levels.
yes, okay, fine, good. So how to plot? You just take these gray levels instead of 1. So you substitute whatever is the count you have here at 3. That's all. So count will be same. You already have the probability, right? So you say now P of
Yes,
S3 is equal to, so P of S1. Okay, S1 value itself is 3, right? So P of 3 will be
Okay.
0.32. P of 4 will be 0.16. Like that. And that you will plot here. So directly it will come at 3 instead of 4.
Understood.
So S1 is anyway 3, right? P of S1 is P of R1. So essentially what you are doing after this whole process is that, say, P of, I will show in the like notes there. Okay, P of Si, okay, finally is equal to S1. Si is equal to, no, anyway, there S definition may be different, but P of Si will be, is SI value is 3, I have written here. Okay, P of SI is equal to P of Ri. Okay, whereas R1 value is 1, S1 value is 3. That you should please keep note of. Hope you got the point, right? Is this point clear? Yeah. So please note that SI is 3 and Ri is 1. Similarly, S2 is, okay, S1 is 3 and R1 is 1. S2 is 4 and R1 is like R1, R2 is 2. Okay. So that you should understand, and then you can do this. Okay. In this example or in this, with this notation. Are the things clear here? Shall we move on? Shall we move on or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. Okay. Fine then. So let me see if I have a equalized histogram plot. Okay, if I don't have any equalized histogram plot, then I think I will show you later. This is contrast stretching, adaptive thresholding, and so on. Okay, I think I don't have here. Okay, we'll see in some other place. So I'm moving on to the lab sheet now. Okay, I'm just stop sharing here. Arun, can you share otherwise the lab sheet?
Yes, sir. I'm sharing, sir.
Yeah. Oh, fine. Anyway, I also has got it here. So if you want me to share also, I can share. Okay, I will share anyway. I have got it here. Okay. So you people are able to see the lab sheet here?
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is say this is the written as a formula. Okay, for getting SK values from directly from like PDF of the original image. Okay, PRRJ is the PDF of the original image, and you are multiplying with L-1. That's what I have done and got SKs. Okay, hope this is clear. Right. So this is the example. So they have shown pictorially what's happening on this. Okay, so you need to, in the process, you need to first find the histogram of the image, then cumulative histogram of the image, equalized image, and should also show the histogram of the equalized image. So showing plot showing mapping between input and okay, what does it mean, Arun? In what way should this plot of mapping between input and the transformed intensities, do they show?
Oh, 1 minute, sir.
Yeah, probably you can show the equalized histogram here. In a table, you can see, you can show this. Okay, if you want to show this, I think a table is good. So that is also let me here. Yeah.
Sir, histogram understood. What is cumulative histogram and equalizer histogram? Equalizer histogram is output. What we discussed.
Yeah,
What is cumulative histogram, sir?
Cumulative histogram means what?
We need to add everything, and we have to show that, sir. That also.
Yeah, PDFs you have to add, right? So whatever the second table I have shown is cumulative histogram.
Yes.
That is cumulative PDF, right? So cumulative distribution function is cumulative histogram.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So and then this plot showing its plot, instead of plot you can write a table. Okay. Showing the mapping between the input intensities and the transformed intensities. Okay, and then you can also show the equalized equalized histogram. Okay, so equalized histogram you will see that the equalized histogram is uniformly more or less. Since we had only 8 gray levels, you are not able to see its effect that greatly, but in general you will see its effect very well. Okay.
Sir, can we say that histogram equalization is a nonlinear contrast stretching?
Yes, yes, correct. It's a nonlinear contrast. Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So there is, on the similar lines, there is a technique called histogram specification. What this histogram specification tries to do is, instead of say mapping the initial histogram to uniform histogram, okay, it gives a target image which has some PDF already. Its gray level has some PDF, and we want to map the current image gray levels to target image gray level distribution. Okay, so that is referred to as histogram specification. Okay, so you have a CDF, cumulative distribution function, okay, from the histogram of this image. Okay, you will also have a CDF for this image. What we try to do is then we want to see that this CD, using these two CDFs, okay, we want to locate, okay, where this say this intensity has to be, okay, after mapping the CDF of this to this, roughly the CDF of this has to match to the CDF of this. So what we do, we look for a current pixel, say here 0. Okay, we will see the count at 0. Where is it in this? We will see it may be here. So what we do is whatever is the value here, here it may be. Okay, whatever is the value here, we will put it here. So it will move this side. Okay, and then the count at 1, if we see first intensity here, first non-zero intensity, this is very high. So here if you see cumulative distribution function, okay, this count may be somewhere here only. Okay, so they will be here. So this intensity is replaced by this. So what we do is in the CDF, we keep starting from the first intensity here and see this CDF value, where does it match closely in the second CDF. That intensity we will assign to this. Okay, so you got the point. So CDF of the given image to target image we match, and the intensity of target image to given image we put. Okay, that's how it is done. Okay, that is referred to as histogram specification.
Sir, this part is not understood, sir.
Okay. Okay, so anybody,
what I understood, sir, is it like we have to find the CDF of both and we have to match these two on us?
Correct, correct.
Okay.
That's what only I said. So what the process of mapping is, first you should get a table. Okay, that table will have actually initial intensity values of the first image. Okay, and its CDF values, second image, first image only, CDF values. Then CDF values of the second image, intensity values of the second image. Okay, so it is a table having 4 columns or a array, matrix array of 4 different, like it is 4 columns and several rows. Okay, it is that matrix you take. Then what do you do? The first, say in the first image, wherever the given image, you want to map it to the specified image CDF. So first image CDF value, say 0.1. You look at where closely in this given target image 0.1 is. Okay, so 0.1 is somewhere here. Corresponding to that, what is the value, intensity value you see? That you will replace by the, say, current, previously in the given image intensity value may be 20. In the now image, the intensity value may be 25. You replace 20 with 25. Okay, so that's how we change the, we map the CDFs, and using them, you modify the intensity information of the original image. Okay, so during that process, what do you think is happening? If I do that, what is that aim of this exercise, or what may be the result of this exercise? Yeah, I need some answers from those who roughly are somewhat understood.
We're trying to
understand
achieve
how
the
value.
features of that second image, sir, by matching it.
We want to?
They actually, in the first example, you said the uniform, roughly it is uniform. But here we are mapping to non-uniform, but it is of some distribution from 0 to 255. So we are trying to match.
255.
Yeah, might be, sir. Yeah. Some given shape. We are trying to match with that. We are spreading equalization. I mean, yeah, we are spreading like that, sir,
Right.
according to the second image.
Correct. So anybody want to put in different words? This process, what we are trying to do? Yeah, put it actually, somebody has to answer. So class means you can't keep listening. Yeah, Praveen.
Reshaping the histogram of the first image with the given image.
What is that?
Or
Yeah,
like it, adapt to histogram.
Adapt the histogram.
Equalization.
That's okay. It's not purely histogram equalization. Okay, so Harshavardhan, you are telling something.
Sir, with the help of the given image CDF, we are reshaping the present image, our own image CDF.
You are
Reshaping the CDF.
reshaping, or we are reshaping the given image PDF to target image PDF. Okay, or we are modifying the given image PDF to specified image PDF or the industry distribution. So see if this specified image PDF is very narrow, then what will happen? Even if it is my given original image is very well spread, okay, but the specified target image is very narrow, then what will happen? After my histogram specifications, okay, my image also will become dark. Okay, so or if this is bright, even the current image is dark, then what will happen if I apply histogram specification? Okay, this will also become bright. So I can modify the gray level distribution of the given image to any range or even the shape of the histogram that is specified by the target image. Okay, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, is that understood by all? Are any questions? So the process of doing it is, so mathematically writing, this is the procedure. Okay, so what we want to is we first find the cumulative distribution of this, cumulative distribution of this. Then you should apply this operation of, okay, so use the cumulative distributions, both of them. See here, you have the cumulative distribution. Use cumulative distributions of both of them and invert the gray levels of the given image to target image. Okay, so that means you should so target image to given image. Target image given gray levels.
Hello. So sir will be, yeah. Fine.
Right. You're able to listen to me now?
No, okay,
Sir.
Yes. Okay. So is this clear? Whatever I have discussed just now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So right. Fine. So this is what is being done. So this inversion process is done through a table, as I said. You make a table. So I request you can make a table here. First, first is RK, okay, RI. So I am just writing here, but I request you people. So CDF of RI, okay. And then I'm just writing here, but you should know. And later probably some TS can write CDF of yes, target image or TI, and then intensity value of TI. Okay, what you should do is you should map from here to here and map from here to here. Okay, that's what need to be done. So this say just check map the relation here. Once you find a close value here, you replace RI by TI. That's all you need to do. Okay, that is referred to as histogram specification. Okay, through this process, what we are doing is we are modifying the intensity distribution of the given image to target image. Okay, gray levels. That's all. Okay, so let's move on now. So the third one is the nearest neighbor classifier. So now I thought of starting small experiments or programming aspects using image processing and machine learning together. Okay, so in that the first exercise is on the nearest neighbor classifier. See, assume that I have some handwritten digits. So assume that each of them are 28 cross 28 digits. Okay, so assume that the digits range from anywhere 0 to 9. So 10 digits. And each digit I have say 100 samples with me. So altogether 100 samples into 10 digits, 1000 samples are with me. This is the training data set, assume that I have with me. And I have a test data set wherein I have three digits for each of the 0 to 10. So 30 I have for test data set. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to put all these 30 or say even I may have a little more. So if for each test digit I may have 10 for example. So 100 is the test data set, 1000 is the trained data set. What I want to do is I want to classify each of the test image digit to one of the like 10 classes. Okay, that these 1000 samples span across. Can one of you tell a nice method for doing it? Hope the discussion so far I made is clear. Okay, so I have actually trained data set, okay, which is equal to, so 10 digits, and then each for each digit I have 100 images. Okay, and test data set, again I have 10 digits, but each image I have 10 test samples. Okay, so these are the samples. Each image is of dimension, okay, each image is digit, dimension is, okay, 28 cross 28. Okay, now the question is, I want to start with, okay, test image 1 or sample 1. Okay, I want to put into one category. Okay, which category should I put? Which digit or class? You people have any solution for this?
Mean square error, sir.
Yeah, you find mean square error with what?
That trained data sets.
Yeah, with all trained data sets. So essentially, see, each is image. So how do I mean square find mean square error for the image? Any suggestion there? So the answer is mean square error. Fine. Okay. So, but how do I find mean square error of test image? Okay, with all trained data set. So I have to find mean square error with 1000 trained images versus test image. And then what do I do? After finding this mean square error, assume that I have found somehow. Okay, and then what do I do next? This gives me what? And then what is next after finding mean square error?
Whatever the sample is nearest, I mean, whatever the minimum error will come, that we
Yeah.
have to match with.
Yeah, assume that say 99th sample has the minimum error. Then what will I do?
We have to declare that the test is belongs to that 99.
99 means what? It is 99 digit?
No, sir, 99 the sample. Yes.
Yeah, put proper wording, and I request other students to help him. Okay, question is posed in class.
Thresholding, sir.
Yeah, what's it?
Thresholding.
Thresholding. What thresholding do I do there? Get the say this comparison mean square error will give me, okay, the image with minimum mean square error. After that, what should I do? See, what is my objective? I got the image with minimum mean square error, fine. Okay, and then what is my objective? After that, what is my initial objective? I have a test image. What I want to do with that test image?
I want to classify.
Yeah, I want to
which
put
digit.
into one of the category, or I want to tell what digit is it. Okay, well, how do I do? I have got the 99th image as the minimum error. Then, so 99th image in the trained data set. Okay, maybe some digit 6. Then, which digit is the test image? What do you suggest?
For whichever image I get mean square error, I'll try to find the class of that image and I'll put the test image in that class.
So get the trained minimum mean square error and declare what? Or assign the class label of the minimum mean square error declare to that class. Or assigned to the class of minimum mean square. Okay, you can, what we essentially do is get the train image with minimum mean square error and assign the class label of that image to test image. Okay, is this clear or not? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this is referred to as minimum, like nearest neighbor classifier. Okay, this procedure is referred to as, okay, nearest neighbor classifier. So any ideas here? Should do like do it slightly differently? So the question here is, I have classified one test image now. Okay, I may have 100. I have now 100 test images. Then what will I do? Huh? I have 100 test images, right? So then what do I do for classifying each of the test images? What do you think I will do? Are you people sleeping because of the afternoon or what?
This is evening, sir.
Perfectly sleeping.
We started in the afternoon.
Yeah. Right. So sleep. Are you sleeping? Has no answer means it is like confirmed. So fine, good. So please carry on. But I think let me complete and move on. So then you people carry on. Our TS will bother with you then. Right. Okay. So if I have another test image, what do I do? I did it for one test image. Now I have second test image. I want to classify. What do I do?
The same one. Again, we will try with.
Yeah, again apply the same procedure. Okay. So and I do the same for all 100 images and classify them into, put the labels. Okay, or put into one of the classes. So I say that if, say for example, the minimum mean square error image here is say 99th image. Okay, so it is 99th image and the image, and that image is okay. 99th image is okay digit 6. Okay, then what? Then assign the same label means what? Then test image is also
6.
yeah, is considered as, or is labeled as 6. Right? That's what we do in the nearest neighbor classifier. Okay, so yeah, so can one of you tell, is there any other way in which I can do the same operation? So instead of using Euclidean distance, okay, I may wish to use for comparison. Okay, so mean square error I may not use, but I may use, okay, normalized cross correlation. Okay, and then what is the difference then between using mean square error and normalized cross correlation? Is there any difference in this process? And where will be the difference?
Yes, sir. In the mean square error, we are trying to find the minimum error.
Right.
But in here, we are finding matching and percentage. How much is matching with that image?
Right.
Similarity score we are trying to find.
Yeah, similarity.
Yeah, I will
There we are
find
finding error.
right. So which one will I pick now while comparison? Will I pick with the minimum normalized cross correlation? Maximum or minimum normalized cross correlation?
Maximum cross.
Okay, maximum cross correlation, because it's a similarity metric. That's all only is the difference. Okay, that is the exercise. So this is the classification here. Then you answer me the final question. So this is an image. How do I compare and find mean square error or normalized cross correlation? Since this is a digit, what do I do to get the normalized cross correlation, or like since it's a matrix, to perform these operations, what do I do? No answers, no clues at all. So what is this? I have written here.
So we have flattened this 28 by 28 matrix, sir, using the use Revel function in this Python. And all.
Correct. So how to do anyway, you bother yourself. Okay, but I think the procedure has to be very immediately told. So you can just write it as a vector because you know how to find vectors. Okay, normalized cross correlation or mean square error, anything you know. You just put say one row after the other. You stack them and make a vector. Okay, so I hope it is a 764 cross 1 vector after with the multiplication 28 plus 28. Okay, so fine. So if you have any questions in this, you can ask. Otherwise, I will stop here my discussion. Okay, I request TAs to discuss little more on the programming aspects. You can also discuss with TAs on the programming aspects. Okay, and then you can carry out the lab sheet. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So on the ADSP lab, tomorrow we will discuss. So if you have any questions or concerns, and I will also discuss on the FIR filter design. Okay. Some aspects of programming needed are that lab sheet, whatever are needed for. Okay. Yeah, thank you then. If you have no questions, thank you. Bye then. Bye to all. I'm leaving from myself and I will assign, probably it will automatically assign. I will assign otherwise. Some of you as host.
Yes, sir.
I am assigning Arun as host.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Thank you then. Bye.
Okay.
Come prepared to the class. At least to answer me, get prepared. Okay, otherwise I think 1 hour class will take 2 hours and I'm not the not responsible for it. Okay, so fine. Bye.